Board is pleased to present to you the results of the 2022 Uganda Certificate of Education UCE examination for release to the public. This is in accordance with the mandate of the board under Section 1B of the UNEB Act of 2021. This examination was conducted between the 17th of October and 18th of November 2022. The examination was preceded by the mandatory briefing of candidates by the heads of centers on the 14th of October regarding the rules and regulations that they had to follow. We noted that the majority of heads of centers carried out the briefing. However, evidence available to us indicates that some did not do so, and as a result of this, some candidates committed acts of irregularities that could only be attributable to inadequate briefing. The board, therefore, would like to appeal to all heads of centers to take the briefing to candidates seriously so as to avoid avoidable cancellation of candidates' results. Honorable Minister, just like the PLE, whose results you recently released, the UCE was also conducted under the threat of Ebola in the areas where the disease had broken out. The challenges were more pronounced because the UCE examination lasted for 5 weeks during the Ebola outbreak. This called for great efforts on the part of UNEP and the other personnel involved to ensure that the standard operating procedures put in place by the Ministry of Health were observed at the examination centers. The restrictions placed on movements of persons initially impacted the movement of examination officials. The board then worked with the police, the offices of the resident district commissioners, and the area supervisors to deal with these challenges adequately. We thank God that no fatalities were reported among the candidates or the field personnel. Honorable Minister, you may recall that for the last examination in 2020, the board reported a drop in the candidature at this level, and this was due to the impact of COVID-19. Some schools had failed to reopen, leaving learners unable to find other schools. Many learners and teachers did not report back to school because they had found other activities. Some parents failed to get money to pay fees, among other reasons. I'm glad to report that there was significant increase in candidature by 4.8% this time. Honorable Minister, the ministry took cognizance of the impact of COVID-19 on learning time. The National Curriculum Development Center, therefore, produced an abridged curriculum that the candidates followed. UNEB accordingly based the 2022 UCE examination on this curriculum. The abridging of the curriculum did not affect the core knowledge, skills, and competencies that candidates were required to exhibit at UCE. Performance levels of 2020 and 2022 examinations can therefore be compared. Pass levels indicate that more places will be required in post-UCE institutions to accommodate the large numbers of candidates who have passed and will require placement. In the 2022 examination, the board added the Chinese language to the foreign languages it examines. The others are French, German, Arabic, and Latin. The board is grateful to the Chinese Embassy and the Confucius Institute at Makerere University for the provision of technical support. Honorable Minister, the teaching of science subjects will continue to require concerted efforts to improve performance to ensure that there are sufficient numbers of students for admission in the science-based disciplines at higher levels. The board applauds the efforts by government in the provision of laboratory equipment to schools, in the provision of in-service programs such as SESEMAT, as well as the recent enhancement of salaries to science teachers. It is our hope as UNEB that these interventions, some of which, like SESEMAT, have been on for a long time, translate into better performance by candidates. It is evident from the reports of the examiners that much of the teaching is theoretical and not sufficiently practical based, and this negatively impacts the outcome. I'm happy to report that cases of examination malpractice have drastically dropped compared to the previous examination. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the field officers for ensuring that candidates adhered to the regulations. I wish, on behalf of the board, to thank you, Honorable Minister, for your support to the board. This support has enabled the board to secure the necessary funds and adequate security for the management of the examination. The board provided oversight during the conduct of the examination. I would like to record appreciation to colleagues in the 10th board for the teamwork, commitment, and various contributions that they made. At this juncture, permit me to request the board members present to stand up for recognition, and staff of the Secretariat of UNEB for the hard work they put in, day out, to ensure that the board is able to deliver on its mandate and in a timely manner. I congratulate the candidates who have passed the examination, the teachers who prepared them, and the parents and guardians for their support.